As I did with Dragon Age Origins, I'm going to do a single video here reviewing the DLC for Dragon Age 2, though it will be shorter. I will not be discussing any item packs, and as I only briefly mentioned the Stone Prisoner in my Origins DLC review, I will only be mentioning the Exalted Prince briefly, though a bit more than I did with Shale because opinions towards Sebastian are a bit more split. Dragon Age 2's DLC companion Sebastian Vale is definitely not as popular a character as Shale was in Origins. He's religious and tends to promote his faith because he views it as an unambiguous good that can help people, which rubs some players and characters the wrong way. Others just seem to find him a bit boring and inconsistent. Personally, I like him and enjoy his story. His story's connection to Kirkwall's Chantry leadership also provides another dimension to the growing tensions in the city that I think enhances the main story a bit.
This is murder.
No. What happened to my family was murder.
Now, I just said I wouldn't discuss any item-focused DLC, but I feel I should give a mention to the Black Emporium, as it has become a recurring element of the series. The Black Emporium is a mysterious shop below the streets of Kirkwall where players may purchase powerful items and equipment, run by a creepy immortal called Xenon the Antiquarian. There will be a lore video about this at some point. But I think by far the most valuable thing the Black Emporium adds to Dragon Age 2 is the Mirror of Transformation that allows the player to re-enter the character creator and change your character's appearance during gameplay. For that reason alone, I would recommend it to anyone that picks up Dragon Age 2. Personally, I like to use it to change up my character's appearance a bit after each time jump in the game to enhance the sense of time passing. That leaves us with 2 DLC worth talking about.
I have a report you might find interesting. It tells of a chasm in the Vinmark Mountains, and a secret that was said to be buried within. Yet when the Chantry went to investigate, they were turned away by the Grey Wardens.
And why would I find that interesting?
Because the champion was there. I can't help but notice you failed to mention this adventure.
Oh, that? I didn't think you'd be interested. Just some business with Hawke's family. A few carded dwarves who went too far. You're not going to believe me.
I'll take my chances.
All right. Don't say I didn't warn you.
The first significant story DLC for Dragon Age 2 is Legacy, a story that starts with Hawke and their surviving sibling investigating attacks by the Carta originating in an isolated mountain area, which ultimately leads to the discovery that the area is a prison for a being called Corypheus. I don't think that's even a spoiler since he's front and center in the marketing. At any rate, Legacy is basically a dungeon crawl with a few puzzles that explores the secrets of the Grey Wardens and the ancient Darkspawn, as well as the history of the Hawke family. It has plenty of plot beats and lore reveals to make a big lore fan like me happy. It also introduces some Darkspawn types that had been in Origins, but had not yet appeared in their redesigned forms in Dragon Age 2. On the whole, I really liked Legacy, for both its lore reveals and the gameplay. The encounters are sufficiently challenging without being too frustrating, and most of them are improvements over the base game's waves of enemies. The puzzles likely won't stump you, but they will force you to pay attention. To get the most out of the story, I recommend bringing a party composed of Hawke's surviving sibling, if there is one, Varric, and Anders, who all have unique encounters and commentary. Last I'll say on this is that Legacy is almost a must for any player looking to play Dragon Age Inquisition after Dragon Age 2. Without getting into any spoilers for Inquisition, there are plot points in Legacy that are very relevant.
The jewel we're after is called the Heart of the Many.
Interesting name.
Interesting jewel. All I care about is getting it away from the Duke. Here's the problem. The heart is in a vault, behind who knows what kind of traps. protected by a private army of Orlesian chevaliers, all inside a fortress that was designed to be impregnable. And let's not forget, it's on the side of a mountain, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by monsters.
The last DLC for Dragon Age 2 was Mark of the Assassin, a heist adventure set in an Orlesian chateau. What makes this one interesting to me is the sheer variety of gameplay it offers. There's the usual fighting and looting we expect from Dragon Age, but also a stealth section and plenty of puzzles. The stealth section is a bit rough, but the puzzles are sufficiently challenging and fit with the overwrought Orlesian vault setting. There's also a short garden party section that's an arguable precursor to the Winter Palace in Inquisition. The developers got creative with adding some new enemy types for the combat, most notably with the poison-spitting wyverns and the weird goblin-like ghasts, both of which add some welcome variety to Dragon Age 2's more standard encounters. You can see the plot twists coming if you pay attention or are just familiar with the sort of double crosses that usually happen in heist plots, but it's still pretty fun. The new character and temporary companion, Talus, is hit or miss. She's very much a vehicle for actress Felicia Day, and some don't particularly like her or how the character was written. In part, I think, because the character has a habit of stealing the spotlight from time to time. Some do seem to find her charming, though. Personally, I do not have strong feelings about the character either way. Overall, I would say Mark of the Assassin is probably the best of Dragon Age 2's DLC, and I'd recommend it to anyone who wants more from the game. I'd like to say that for Legacy and Mark of the Assassin, they can be played during any of the game's 3 acts. The difficulty of the DLC is scaled to your character, so there's no need to be worried about starting it too soon. Personally, I like to play Mark of the Assassin during Act 2 due to the thematic links to the Qunari plot of Act 2. I now like to play Legacy during Act 3 as a way of preparing myself to move on to Inquisition if I'm replaying the series. I actually wish there was another DLC so I could evenly play one per act, but it is what it is. There was a planned expansion for Dragon Age 2 called Exalted March that would have followed up on the game's ending, but the developers decided to shift to working on Dragon Age Inquisition instead, which recycled some of the ideas for that expansion. Well, that's all I have to say about the major DLC for Dragon Age 2, all of which I'm happy to say expands upon the base game in worthwhile ways. See you next time.